In today's video I want to talk about a rather sensitive subject regarding the way a lot of traders approach the markets. If you have been involved in trading, you must have heard or practiced something called scalping. Although there are a few variations of scalping, the one I am referring to is the approach where the trader goes after quick and short rewards in the attempt to exploit quick windows of opportunity using some trick or simple technical setup. First and foremost, let me point out that this type of trading has enormous psychological advantages that are self-evident, but as you will find out later in the video, it also has a silent psychological trap attached to it. I say that scalping apparently has psychological advantages because it provides the trader with a lot of cognitive comfort in the short term. There are mathematical reasons for that. For example, in the type of scalping I'm referring to, the trader usually closes the trade as soon as it goes into profitable territory, and his stop-loss order is usually far away from his entry point. Beyond that, some traders will tend to move their stop-loss order to accommodate their wishes on what the market should do in the hope that price will eventually come back and give them their short reward. If you pay close attention, the trader in question is basically using a short target and a large stop-loss, which is exactly the opposite of what he should be doing if he wishes to survive in the long term as a trader. However, since his targets are so short, the probability of hitting them is high, so this trader starts to build his confidence by producing a high win ratio in the short term. The obvious fact that this trader is neglecting is that at some point, the market will turn against him and it will hit his stop-loss. Since his stop-loss is huge compared to his target, this stop order will wipe out most of his series of short rewards. That's what happens when a trader neglects the important role of healthy risk-reward ratios. He will trap himself in an emotional roller coaster that only has an end if the correct money management principles are applied. Let's take a moment and observe what this type of trading does to a person in the emotional dimension. In the short term, the trader is feeling amazing about his high win ratio and he's even starting to display some degree of overconfidence. Eventually, the market will wipe out his series of small earnings because of the mathematical structure of his risk management, which is completely upside down. The result is an emotionally devastated trader who is now motivated to get his money back based on the premise that he must have done something right to make money for a while. That's the deadly mistake many traders make in the markets. By doing the same thing again, the trader is only preparing the ground to shoot himself in the foot again. It's interesting to notice that a trader with this kind of mindset will repeat this process until he cannot do it anymore for lack of money or for some other external reason. If we analyze this situation more closely, we will notice that there is a combination of mathematical, statistical, and psychological reasons that sustain this sort of behavior. The psychological reason is something called hyperbolic discounting, which is the human tendency to prefer short and quick rewards over large and later rewards. This is rooted in our biology due to the way we perceive risk, reward, and effort. We tend to prefer activities that reward us as soon as we put some effort into it. However, that's not how the financial markets work. To be able to thrive in the markets, we need to bypass this primal need to obtain immediate rewards if we want to have some degree of success in the long term. The hyperbolic discounting is the psychological string that sustains the scalping method of trading up and running. The bad thing about hyperbolic discounting is that we all have it. It is a biological bias that evolved with us for thousands of years for reasons that we might not even understand, but this type of thinking must have been useful to our ancestors to a certain degree. It's just unfortunate that we need to deal with it in modern society today. Mathematically speaking, the scalper is failing to understand that in this configuration of risk-reward, he is producing an expectancy lower than 1. In other words, he is expecting to earn less than what he risks in the mid and long term. Since nobody can go around the laws of mathematics, the eventual result of that is capital loss. Statistically speaking, it is wrong to judge the health of a trading strategy by looking at a few trades only because of something called statistical significance. If we compare two trade samples, one with 10 trades and another with 300 trades, the latter will be able to tell us a lot more information about the system than the first due to the statistical significance of the sample. To understand this idea more clearly, let's take the example of a coin toss. We know that the probability of getting heads is equal to the probability of getting tails. 50% for each side of the coin. If we take a series of 5 coin tosses, we might end up with misleading results. For example, of all 5 coin tosses, 3 might be heads and 2 might be tails. This tells us that the probability of getting heads is 60% and the probability of getting tails is 40%, but we know that's not the case. This distortion happens because 5 coin tosses don't produce enough statistical significance. If we take a series of 100 coin tosses for example, we will see that the probability of getting heads or tails will tend more and more to the real probability of 50% for each side. In other words, a small sample has low statistical significance and it might distort the perceived health of a system. For example, if you make 5 trades and all of them are profitable, you might have a good strategy, but you might also be under the illusion that scalping produces in the short term. That's why we need to access the risk management parameters of a strategy to know its level of expectancy. To sum up, there are 3 main reasons why scalping in the way it was described in this video will always fail. The low expectancy, the hyperbolic discounting and the low statistical significance. At last, it is important to point out that there are good and bad types of scalping. The bad type is the one we have been describing in this video. The good one is the type of trading that respects the laws of risk management, but it aims to catch short opportunities like in the 1-minute or 5-minute timeframe. I hope you learned something useful with this video and you never employ the shallow scalping techniques that were described here. If you liked the video, please support our channel by subscribing and leaving your feedback below. Don't forget to check out our other videos as well. We have a lot of good free material available on the channel. Thank you for watching.